Mohammed, 1938 to 1976, who was the torchbearer of the Nigerian Revolution in July 1975. In 1984, the Nigerian military government of Muhammadu Buhari, in an attempt to legitimize its interruption of the democratic process through a military coup d'etat, directed the CBN to cause a change in the colors of the Nigerian currency. The exercise was designed to devalue the money alleged to have been stolen by Nigerian political leaders. In 1991, both the 50 kobo, 1 naira note were coins. It is believed that monetary reforms of this period, particularly the introduction of the 50 naira currency note, were carried out in response to increased private and privated spending resulting from Nigeria's excess oil revenue of the period. Some Nigerian currencies were recommended for redesign, but it was not accepted by certain sectors of the Nigerian society. Some Nigerians were inclined to believe that the demonetization of the smaller denomination was meant to depreciate the value of the currency. This particular reform heralded the erosion of coins in Nigeria and precipitated its waning use. Consequently, the 5 naira note became the minimum denomination acceptable in the Nigerian society. In response to the expansion in economic activities and to facilitate efficient payment system, the currency reforms continued in 1999 with the introduction of the 100 naira banknote. In the front view, the currency unit bears the portrait of Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Premier of Western Region of Nigeria in the 1950s and leader of the opposition party at the federal level in the 1960s. In its back view is a picture of the Zuma Rock. November 2000 and April 2001, the CBN issued 200, 500 banknotes respectively, with the former bearing the portrait of Alhaji Sir Ahmadu Bello, former Premier of the defunct Northern Region. On the back view of the currency denomination are pictures of heads of cattle, agricultural products, and the Nigerian coat of arms. The 500 naira denomination bears in its front view the portrait of Chief Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Premier of the defunct Eastern Region and first Nigerian president between 1963 and 1966. It bears the Nigeria coat of arms on the reverse side. It also bears the Naira sign on both sides of the note. The latest currency denomination introduced in Nigeria Was the 1,000 Naira currency note. This was introduced on the 12th of October 2005 by the Central Bank of Nigeria. Peculiar to this currency is that it bears in front views portraits of the past CBN governors: Alhaji Aliyu Mai Bronu, governor of the Central Bank 1963 to 1969, and Dr. Clement Isong, governor of the Central Bank 1967 to 1974.
Hello, welcome. Good morning. And it's a beautiful Friday morning here in the nation's capital. Trust me, it's really cool and calm. And this is New Day, broadcasting live from Abuja and here on People's Television. My name is Daniel Mwabo. So it's a Friday, the 20th day in the month of July, and gradually the year is winding down. We have already crossed into the second half of the year. And whatever it is, big shout out to all the procrastinators out there. Get on your feet, get to do what you plan to do, and beat time and achieve much more than you have planned to achieve. And trust me, it will be better for you. It's Friday, and you know how Friday goes. So just a little bit laid back, a bit of everything, but we will still talk about current affairs and happenings around the country and things that are trending in the polity. We hear a story of a very crucial meeting that was held last night at Aso Rock between the president, the vice president, the senate president, and a few governors who were in attendance. We also hear that the president wants to, or is advocating for increased allocation, budgetary allocation for the Ministry of Health. We also hear that some Southeast governors are basically not happy with the kind of appointments that have been done by the president, saying it's loop-sided. In that vein, there was also 3 appointments made by the president yesterday. 3 new DGs have been appointed. And all of these stories we'll be talking about here on New Day. Also, Fayemi, governor-elect of Ekiti State, has gone to see Daddy, and Hassan is going to present his certificate to Daddy and say, yes, I won. And thank you for the support and the encouragement. And yes, and I'm here also in cause of seeing the President Buhari has denied vote buying. Let's see how all of that pans out, as the PDP have said that they will go to court. Definitely, they would go to court to, seek redress on the election. And also to let you know that Dino Melaye has also confirmed assassination attempt on his life. This is apart from the fact that the constituency projects that he influenced, that came to his people, was raised down by hoodlums and all of that. But let's see how all of this drama goes on. He has said he would rebuild all of the properties or the projects that was raised down by fire by hoodlums. He said he would rebuild all of them. And all of the stories making the headlines, we have the newspaper here. All of this we'll be looking at here on New Day. And as we make progress, we'll be opening up the phone lines to ensure that you can lend your voice and we can have a conversation here on the program. Don't go anywhere. We just got started. I'll be right back.
And here we go then. Great atmosphere and the allure and glamour of this International Champions Cup. Rashford inside the area, Rashford scores! Well, it's been cut home by Marquinhos. Chiellini has scored. Pastore in the box. And Mosley! Iwobi, yes, Arsenal level it. Shot from distance, oh, what a goal! An absolute doozy.
It's new, it's here. It's premium entertainment for everyone from August 1st. Get popping every day with Ebony Life TV. Mondays are from Nollywood. Tuesdays are for novellas. The Next Generation have a blast on Wednesdays. Thursdays are for drama. Fridays are there to excite you and binge every weekend.
Here on New Day on People's Television, broadcasting live from the nation's capital. Now, let's get straight to business. A couple of stories that I shared with you earlier made the headlines and it's trending the polity. First, we have the Southeast senators protest alleged loop-sided appointments. The senators from the Southeast zone have protested alleged discrimination by the president, you know, when it comes to appointments and of heads of government, departments, agencies, and parastatals. The aggrieved senators alleged that recent appointments which he sought legislative approval for were from particular sections of the country. You know, this allegation had come up before, and when it came up, they also, you know, made this, expressed their grievance. And I remember vividly that the president, or some quarters from the president, said that he was not done making his appointments yet. So you cannot judge, at this point, which side has more. But we also know that the fact, the way the country is, we have 19 northern states and 5 eastern states, 6 southern states, and also we have about 6 or 7 western states. Now, we're talking about federal character. Somehow, the northern part of the country would produce more, because there are more states, even if you want to pick one from all of the states, somehow. Nevertheless, the Senate President, in his wisdom, has said that he has referred the issue to the House Committee on Federal Character to basically look at the matter and, prefer solutions as well as give recommendations. And if these things are true, they would write to the president and seek his redress so that on the remaining appointments made, they can, it can be balanced. That is why we have a federal character in the country. That's why we have, something called a federal character to ensure that appointments and positions and whatever it is that needs to go around goes round equally and equitably, so that we don't have issues with loop-sided, gains. Anyways, let's look at that story now, coming from the National Assembly, the Senate precisely. Let's look at that story about the Southeast senators expressing their grievances about the president's appointments.
It is a new day in the Senate, and the President has again forwarded a request for confirmation of appointments. This time it was for the 6-member board of the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA.
Confirmation of appointments of chairman and members of the governing board of the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA. In accordance with provision of Section 2 of the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency Amendment Act 2007, I forward herewith the nominations of a chairman, a managing director, and 6 representatives drawn from each of the 6 geopolitical zones as members of the governing board of the Federal Road Maintenance Agency for confirmation by the Senate. Confirmation of appointments of chairman and members of the governing board of the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA. In accordance with provision of Section 2 of the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency Amendment Act 2007, I forward herewith the nominations of a chairman, a managing director, and 6 representatives drawn from each of the 6 geopolitical zones as members of the governing board of the Federal Road Maintenance Agency for confirmation by the Senate. Mr. Tunde Lemo, Chairman, Engineer Nuruddin Abdurrahman Rafindadi, Managing Director, Buba Silas Abdullahi, Executive Director, Baba Gana Muhammad Ajib, Executive Director, Engineer Shehu Usman Abdullahi, Executive Director, Loretta Ngozi Chukwu Nagolu, Executive Director, Mujadu Stanley Dako, Executive Director, and Vincent Oladapo Kolawole, Executive Director.
Soon, there were a series of points of orders by senators from the Southeast. They demanded that the process be suspended pending the presentation and adoption of the report by the Federal Character Committee.
I don't have problem with any particular part of Nigeria, but I have problem with the way government is directing its appointments. Over the last 2-3 weeks, we've had cause to either discuss this FEMA that has been announced today, or the NDIC, or the AMCOM, or Federal Civil Service Commission. The heads of all these parastatals have come from one particular part of Nigeria. And this is completely unfair. We can't sit in this Senate and allow that to go out. So I believe we need to point it out to the federal government to ensure that every part of Nigeria is represented in the running of Nigeria. As we are talking about the state issue, or the zonal issue, I also want to mention about states. Because if you look at this appointment that was made, there are some states, for instance, it is the turn of Ebonyi State, but when you look at that appointment, the state that had just finished, they were doing appointment again, instead of appointing when the appointment was over. So I want to do is that they should handle it together. That is not what I'm saying, Mr. President.
The senators' grouse centered around what they say is marginalization in federal appointments.
I am moving and suggesting that we should step down this item until the Committee on Federal Character comes in and gives us a true picture, because we cannot have everything coming from one area.
I'm of the opinion, I'm strong of opinion, that we should keep everything in abeyance. Let the Federal Commission, after that we can now look at issues politically. I so move.
But the Senate leader spearheaded APC's position on balance.
Mr. President, what the Deputy President of the Senate raised
is not to have a complete picture. He has restricted his consideration to very few. If you go to the larger picture, that issue is not supposed to be raised in the first place. Let me be blunt. The issue raised is predominance. But if we can have the larger picture, I'm sure that we could see a balanced spread of appointments. So I don't want us to really devote so much time to looking at the very narrow picture of what government is doing in terms of
Thank you.
The Senate President opted to mandate the Committee on Federal Character to take a second look at Buhari's appointments rather than act on sentiments.
We're all on the same side. Nobody wants any injustice to any part of this country. But we all agree that at the moment we're just all speculating. It's not based on a document that we've all agreed on. I'm just asking, please, that let us get the document from Federal Character. If the document from Federal Character suggests what you are saying, then we hold action. But if it will be unfair, if the document from Federal Character does not support that. So all I want to appeal, we'll tell our chairman of Federal Character, bring a report on Tuesday. If the report on Tuesday suggests that TSP is right, then we will not consider this report. I give you a word on that. And if it's not, we will consider the report. I think this is only fair. Distinguished colleague, let us.
He noted that only the committee will determine if the protesting lawmakers were right. The committee, headed by Tijani Kaura, is expected to turn in a report next week, Tuesday.
Yes, we saw all of that, and it was more like the Southeastern senators actually had it planned out with their red caps. I think it was just the Deputy Senate President who was not on his red cap, and whatever it is, they have let their grievance known, and they have, come out to say they are not happy with the kind of appointments that the president is making. Anyways, I'm not here alone. I'm joined by a journalist who's been out there monitoring stories and happenings, in-house journalist, our very own PTV journalist, who's been out there monitoring all of the happenings in the polity, from the National Assembly to the courts, to the APC, to the PDP, to Ekiti elections. And all of those he will shed more light on what has been happening on ground. Emmanuel Bagudu, welcome to the New Day.
Thank you very much, Daniel.
Okay, let's get straight to talk now. The Southeast senators are protesting the loop-sided appointment by the president.
Yes. In fact, it's coming at the right time. And when I was watching Senator Chukwuka Watazi, vibrating in the floor of the Senate, I said this is something that we've been expecting for quite some time now. And probably the Igbo senators and the South senators, so to say. I remember last week the Urobo leaders visited the president, where he promised them, in company of Festus Keyamo, who led them to the presidency, where the president promised them appointments. And then, of course, the issue of land grab in Edo State and all that, being grabbed by the military, and then, of course, some forces. The president promised, to see to that those problems are solved. But coming to looking at Senator Chukwuka Watazi, protesting this morning, and other senators, it baffles me, because this is supposed to have started right from time. Because I belong to that set of journalists that believe that there is no balance in Federal Character as far as appointment is concerned. And it's coming from the federal lawmakers of the topmost legislative chamber. Is not. I don't think it's bad, and I think it's their right to protest. And of course, we've seen that appointment that just went on. Probably these guys have been waiting for this for a long time. One will say, why are they not talking? Why is it now that they are talking? Why is it that they are talking just now? The reason is because probably they have been hopeful, and then they are not seeing results. And of course, 2018 is gone already, 2019 is coming. Probably this may not have effects now, but I believe it will have effect in 2019.
But you know that before now, there have been speculations that the appointments were lopsided, but it didn't come from the National Assembly. It came from concerned Nigerians, it came from public affairs analysts, it came from people who have been watching the president's appointment. And the National Assembly it kept mute about it, but people spoke about it, even the media spoke about it. There was an analysis of the appointment as at 2 years ago when they started the administration and everything. But the excuse that was given then was that Buhari is just starting the appointment. Calm down, and let's see how it goes. Now, 3.5 years gone, we have less than 6 months, 7 months to the elections, and they are now voicing out. Just yesterday, 3 new appointments were made, all under the Ministry of Mines and Steel. We have Umar Hassan, DG, National Steel Raw Materials Exploration Agency. Professor Linus Asukwa, DG, National Meteorological Development Center. That's the only one from the South region. And then we have Professor Suleiman Hassan, DG, CEO, Nigerian Institute of Mining and Geoscience, JOS. Now, the question is, the Senate President, in his wisdom, has referred the matter to the House Committee on Federal Character to come up with recommendation, or probably to look into the appointment and, you know, give their own recommendation or their own report. But if you look at the way Nigeria is, I mean, we have 19 northern states, even though we have the middle belt, and, you know, they had northeast, the northwest, and the north central, you know. And then in the southern parts, we have 5 southeastern states. We have about 7 southwestern states, and we have 6 southern states. So, by the way the region is shared on its own, you would agree with me that appointments are expected to be lopsided.
Well, when you say appointments are lopsided, you have to look at the content and the quality of the appointment. I think what they are protesting is not that they are not giving appointment at all, but because they are not giving key positions. Now, let's take a look at the appointments that these people have been enjoying. Let's start with petroleum. State for petroleum, we have Kachuku, Ibe Kachuku.
From South.
He's not substantial. He's a minister of state.
Yeah.
Of course, we know that ministry is being controlled by the president
himself.
Of course. So, which means you can't say he's in a key position. Now, what other ministry? We have Ministry of Labor, where we have Chris Ngige there. We also have Science and Technology, where we have Ogbonna.
Well, many didn't think he would be minister. Many thought at least he would be secretary to the government. There were speculations about his appointment.
That's why I'm going. Key positions, key appointments. Then we'll go to, of course, the CJN. That's number 5 man in Nigeria.
Yes.
I think it's from it's a cross Riverian.
Yes. That took almost 3 months.
3 months.
To have the appointment confirmed.
Yeah. I think if you ask me, that is the only appointment I know that those guys are enjoying.
Many have questioned the security forces appointment.
Of course, that's what we're going to.
The all chief of staff.
Of course.
The DSS.
Of course.
The NIA.
Of course. This is not balanced. That is where the cry is coming from. When people say we're not giving appointment, we're not giving appointment. It's not that they're not giving appointment at all. They're not giving appointment that they can feel impact. That an appointment that, you know, of course, you know, to impact in their lives and the lives of their people.
Yes.
Of course. So this cry, this outcry is not just an issue that one will just look at it and say, okay, it's just a peripheral, it's just a political issue, it's just a sentimental issue, it's just an elitist issue. It's an issue that people have to look at it from the people's point of view. The impact point of view, where if one is being given an appointment, then the appointment be key. Just like in cases of what some state governors do these days. Some state governors, you know, tend to give appointments to people, to regions, you know, that favor them more. I don't want to mention examples, but when you look at it, it's a political, you know, gimmicks that the senators are already aware of, and that is why they are protesting.
Okay, let's take a look at some of the stories that made the headlines. We also hear that Buhari and some APC governors were in a closed-door meeting late yesterday. That story came in. The president on Thursday met with Saraki behind closed doors. Also at the meeting were governors elected under the platform of the APC. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and the Ekiti State Governor-elect Kayode Fayemi were also at that meeting. And also this morning, we're seeing on the pages of the newspaper pictures from that meeting. Governor Yari, the chairman of the Governors Forum, was there. We also saw the vice president there. And I mean, the title of, when we see things on the page of the newspaper that we saw this morning, the title was Defection. Then below, we saw Buhari, Osinbajo, Saraki, APC governors meet.
Yeah, of course. And that will, that goes to tell you that the APC have been working very hard to, to keep the party in shape. And that takes us, of course, to, don't forget, Otom 2 was around yesterday.
Yes.
And then, of course, a lot of governors were around, which means there's a looming threat of massive defection from that party. And that calls for that emergency meeting. We had the content of the meeting before the end of the day, by the time we go out for news gathering and all that. But I want to say that APC is under threat for key persons to defect. So, and they have to work very, very hard to, to avert that kind of mishap, because that was what happened to PDP. Well, you remember 5 governors, including an ex-vice president, who defected from the PDP and they had to join APC.
Yes.
And they just conquered the whole election without any stress. So it happened at a time like this. And the APC already, since they were the ones that actually started the style, they already know the strategy. So I believe they are in the best position to, to curtail that. And then that takes us to Otom as well. Samuel Otom, come out to say that he is not defecting. Of course, we only had that after the meeting with the APC chairman. So which means from his side also there's a looming threat of defection. So the defection headline you saw on the newspaper, I think is correct, and I think it's coming at the right time, and there's no any mistake from the editorials.
Doesn't this tell so much about the personality of Otom? I mean, he made it clear in Benue while he was swearing in one of his aides that he's been frozen out of the party, and that he would defect, and also, but he would go back and seek another new platform, or go to another new platform where he would seek re-election. And just yesterday, we heard that the previous night, the public secretary of the APC in Benue State has resigned and left the party, although he has not announced a new party. But that's a major one. The spokesperson for the APC.
Yes. Nigerians are beginning to understand the political gymnastics that these politicians are playing. The issues of godfatherism comes to play when you see this one, I'm resigning, I'm not resigning, I'm defecting, I'm not defecting. In fact, I'm leaving your party, and all that. These gimmicks, Nigerians are beginning to see how these things happen. And people should be aware. Electorate should be aware that these guys are out there to use our brains. And as journalists, we should be able to put this thing straight to the people. That if any politician brings a proposal to your table and says, this is what I want, this is what I want you to do, you have to have a rethink. Because you mentioned something, someone resigned, and then someone said he's not resigning, so he's not defecting, which means there are forces that are fighting.
Yes.
There are forces that are fighting within that, within that axis, within that state. Of course, we've heard. I don't want to dwell more on that. Well, of course, we've heard that Senator Akume, of course, is one of the strong figures in Benue State.
And he was not at the meeting.
And he was not at the meeting. So
the meeting was called by the national chairman of the party for George Akume and
yes.
Otom.
So that's the only that a lot of powers are playing out there, and Nigerians have to open their eyes to see to see the real candidate to be voted for, and not the ones that have been endorsed by godfathers. So these are issues that are very, very serious, and we must take them serious by the time it's 2019.
Are you guys kidding me now? They no switch the inverter. They no switch the
5 keys to keeping your child on a healthy weight level. Be a good role model. Children learn by example, and so you must set good examples such as eating at the right time and the right quantity and quality, coupled with good exercise time. Get active. Overweight children do not need more exercise than the slimmer children. Their extra body weight means they will naturally burn more calories for the same activity. Child-sized food portions. Avoid feeding your child oversized portions. A good rule of thumb is to start meals with small servings and let them ask for more if they are still hungry. Eat healthy meals. Children, just like adults, should aim at 5 or more portions of fruits and vegetables every day. It is far better than the sugar-laden snacks we give them. Let them replace their carbonated drinks with water. Fizzy drinks are dangerous to their weight. Sleep. Let the children watch less TV and take in more sleep. Yes, this helps with weight loss management. Children should watch not more than 2 hours of TV a day, including the films from phones. They trim better when they sleep well. Besides, insufficient sleep can affect their behavior or mood.
Skin. It's a fact of life. Your skin ages just like the rest of you. It's constantly exposed to the elements of the punishing sun and heat, to the beating cold and wind. It's impressive to know that it holds up as well as it does. Through the years, the largest organ in the human body weathers, sunburns, acne, stretching, and more without complaints. Your skin performs several critical roles. It keeps your body temperature regulated, protects you from infections and injury, filters impurity for you as well as retains your body moisture. But those duties exact a price. Loss of elasticity topping the charts. Others are thinning skin, dry and cracked skin, wrinkles, blemishes, and spots are frequently signs of aging skin. Nonetheless, it is possible to desire and actually keep a young and youthful skin much longer than you thought. Simply follow these tips. Wash your body regularly, at least twice a day, morning and night. If you have oily skin, you may need to wash more than twice a day to remove the cream of the day. Never sleep with makeup on. Deep clean all of it, especially eye makeup, as it gradually introduces the unwanted wrinkles and discoloration. Also, insist on the right cleanser for your skin.
Welcome back. Apologize for that breaking transmission, but let's get straight back to business like we were saying. I'm still here, joined by, with Mane Bagudu, in-house journalist who has been shedding light on the happenings in the polity and in the political space. Now we're talking about Benue State. We also know that Kaduna is a looming crisis, you know, even if it's not been full-blown in the media. But we know that there's some underground rancor going on between the governor and two very key senators of that state. Yeah. I mean, it will spell doom for the party if the party loses those two senators.
Not just two senators. 3 senators in Kaduna State have not
All
been,
3 senators?
3 senators in Kaduna State are not in tune with the policies of Governor Nasir El-Rufai. But, and 2 of those senators are from his party. But that, of course, you know, takes us to the issue of rancor, and I want to defect, I don't want to defect, you know, issues coming in. And of course, just like I said, this political gymnastics that these guys are playing should be visible enough for Nigerians to see, to make their choice. Because by the time we are having an issue of a governor, saying he's going to defect, or a senator saying he wants to defect, then we should know that something's wrong somewhere. It's either a clash of interest for the public or for the politicians themselves. Now we are going down, to the issues of the Osun State coming in, while we're talking about direct primaries and non-direct primaries.
Yes,
that's another issue that is affecting the APC, so to say. The contestants are saying they want delegate primaries, while the party is saying we want direct primaries. I know the party chairman there is a Democrat, where he wants everyone to just come in and do, come directly and then select the candidate that will contest in the party. So, as a Democrat, things have to be done in the right way. So, these issues of defection is as a result of these politicians whose interests are not met, are not the interests of the people. That is where defection comes in. So, the headlines today carrying defection, I think, just like I said earlier on, it's a very good one, and it's an eye-opener for the electorate to see that, of course, these people that are running away from the party, are they running for our interest or for the interest of themselves and their family members and their friends and their appointees? Okay, so these are the questions that Nigerians are supposed to ask.
Okay, let's talk about Osun State elections, where I was speaking with a politician yesterday, and he, broke it down and explained to me direct primaries and delegate primaries.
Delegate primaries, yeah.
For what he explained, it seems like direct primaries will make our politicians spend more, though it looks very democratic.
Very democratic.
But they will spend more because, delegate primaries, they just have a chunk of delegates that they will probably house, in a particular hotel, give them a few honorarium, to vote for them. And he also mentioned that the delegate primaries in most times are controlled by the godfathers, by those that feel like they have these delegates and these delegates and to themselves, and they can channel those delegates to any candidate that they want. That's aside. The direct primaries is more like our general elections. Every local government, every ward, they go to
just go select your candidates. In fact, that explains why President Muhammadu Buhari is very, very close to Adams Oshiomhole, because they are all Democrats, and they are always interested in the voice of the people. I had the privilege of speaking one-on-one with the Deputy Speaker, Yusuf Lasso, when he came to pick his form at the APC Secretariat. He was specifically, referring to the fact that direct primaries will kill the party. He said it point blank. We asked him why. He said delegate primaries has been the tradition, that bringing direct primaries will spoil the process, will spoil the party.
But it's in the Constitution.
And it's in the Constitution, of course. So it shows you that these politicians are, they are only running from their interest. And I give kudos to the APC because of the kind of strategies they are bringing, to ensure that democracy, internal democracy thrives in the party. So I open my mind to this kind of controversies and then see the advantages and disadvantages. And of course, the polity is being spiced up and it's very, very interesting at this time.
Okay, let's talk about some other issues now, especially as regards INEC, where INEC has slated August 11th date for Senate by-elections in Bauchi State.
Yeah.
We also have a few by-elections that
are coming there, the Katon Karfe, and of course, Lokoja Federal Constituency, the Obuduwan, state constituency, and of course, we have the Katsina North, I think. Bauchi South and Katsina North.
But there's something that I'm still not clear on. Will this new senator, when he emerge or she emerge, serve for 4 years or prepare for 2019 again?
Of course, we'll serve for 4 years. They will serve for 4 years. And of course, don't forget, INEC is going to conduct, it's the same set of people that voted for the first senator that will vote for this very one. Because it's a part of, the rules that govern the electoral process.
But the person who was there before who died, yes, has spent about 3 years plus.
No, that's nature for you. It calls for nature. When you look at the provisions of the electoral process and, of course, that of the Constitution, you will discover that, of course, it works. It provides for a single term of 4 years. It's provided for a single tenure of 4 years. So you have to complete your tenure. And of course, if you want to go for another one, you can continue, and continue for life.
This person now will stay for 4 years.
Of course.
Not how many months?
To complete someone's.
Yes, because what I'm thinking is, there is a bit of irregularity in case of death or in case of yes, death actually is a major issue here because all of these by-elections happen as a result of death.
Yeah, of course.
Now,
but that doesn't take away, the rights and privileges of the person to be elected. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, thank you very much, Emmanuel Bagudu, for joining me on PTV today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We'll go on a short break now. When we come back, the phone lines will be open, and you can call and let us know what you think about the topic that we will put out on the screen for you to call on. I'll be right back.
Is it not even better that we have a corrupt man who know what we, the youth of Nigeria, want? Trump, as you are saying, Trump is corrupt. Now he's the best president so far. Look at the economy of USA. When the government, you understand, is afraid of the citizen, there is liberty, love, development. But in a situation whereby the citizen is afraid of the government, that is that tyranny. Nigeria is this is tyranny, era of tyranny. You understand? And you cannot take it away. As far as we Nigerians are concerned, Abacha is one of the best presidents we have. And Obasanjo, you understand? And Obasanjo, all these people are corrupt. So is it not better we even have people who they said is corrupt that will come and solve our problem in this country than people who say that they are sent, that things are not moving? Our economy is shut down, many things is shut down, nothing is working. So what are we now saying?
What we are passing through in Nigeria is in fact, is not what we expected. You understand? Even so the Nigerian that voted for, because personally myself, I never voted for Buhari for one day. My vote was not casted for him because I know him right from history. When we were in Lagos, then there was a massive unemployment. Then there was no job. People suffer to eat. Then that was why I didn't give him one vote. And I am telling you, this one, I am not giving him one single vote. My community is not giving him one single vote.
Forget about people who see themselves as if they are the ones to decide. He said he's not going to vote for Buhari. That is left for him. He cannot say his community will not vote for Buhari because he don't know even his brother, his immediate brother, will like Buhari more than he did. You understand? That is how you think. We must pass through a wilderness to get to the promised land. What PDP has been doing to this country is only God. If you give them that chance again, we will derail. We'll get back to where we have been into.